So let's talk about some of the supporting tools that come with the framework to help expedite your development process. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our dataset generator. We have three components. We have the include file, which is the dataset definition. We have the client-side dataset class, and then we have the server-side dataset class, which inherits from the client side. So anything that you want to exist in the class, whether it's properties or client-side validation, it will be inherited by the server side. One of the reasons for this is there has been requirements in the past from some of the customers to have redundant validation whenever possible. So you would have the pre-trans validation would run on the client side in a Windows application. Subsequently, because it's inherited by the server side class, it would run again on the server. This does not really pertain to our presentation because we're not talking about the Windows implementation of the framework. We're simply talking about REST. All the properties and the non-database validation should go in the client side. That way it's reusable in case you wanted to have a back office window version and you wanted to use the same code. We're going to generate a customer data set. The naming convention for this framework does not have to be adhered to, but it's recommended that you have your relative path for your data sets be CLS/DS. When this screen opens up, it actually looks through your pro path, and then if it finds it, it will populate your dataset directory. I'm going to build the customer dataset, so I'm going to include that. You'll notice that I get a class name that is crud.customer2. The reason it's got 2 is because there is already a dataset for customer. We have all these checkboxes to allow us to generate callback code within the dataset class. These callbacks execute at various points during the loading and writing of the data. We have pre-trans at the dataset level, post-trans at the dataset level. We have a pre-fill and a post-fill. We also have the pre-trans validate, which can run both on the client and the server or either respectively. Now we're going to select all the fields we're going to include. We're just going to select all of them. I'm just going to take all the defaults for now, and then we will go ahead and generate this data set. We get 3 files. We get our dataset definition in the include file. We get the client side, and we get the server side. We open up our data set. We have all our fields that we've selected. We've included some required fields for the CRUD. For example, this include file has a placeholder for the row ID, so we can refine that record. Let's look at the client side. We have pre-transaction, and we have basically told the data set that we're going to populate this record with more data after the fill. And on the server side, we have all the transactional callbacks, including the after fill. Because of inheritance, we can define the after fill property in the client, but it actually executes on the server side. Note that we don't have to write any required field validation in this pre-transaction validate because the framework supports that through the metadata, which is another tool that we will show in another video. Thanks for watching, and please check out our other videos on the Intui-Tech channel.